First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin is tracking these storms for us. And Cutter, when and where will we see them?
Yeah, Nikki, I think just about everybody has a fair shot today, but different than Monday, a later arrival. And because of that, flood watch does not go in effect until 5 p.m. It remains in effect until midnight for much of central Maryland, BW Parkway and I-95 corridors in particular, possibly from D.C. right up into Baltimore. That's where some of the heaviest rain could fall. There are thunderstorms out in western Maryland. Earlier downpour over Hagerstown. Washington County has now shifted north of the Pennsylvania state line, though there are very electric storms right up along US 68 into far northern and western portions of Maryland, and then more storms down into Virginia. Right now, the Bay Breeze not firing off any thunderstorms just yet, but there are signs we could see storms develop closer to the city before storms in western Maryland even make it in here. 87 at BWI. It feels like 95, so plenty of moisture for showers and thunderstorms to work with. And look at the timing here. Strongest of the weather, the worst of the conditions could be after sunset, 9 to 10 o'clock this evening. Heavy rain, that risk is there. Secondary to that, Nikki, the risk of a few gusty thunderstorms, and then some improvement, drier weather ahead in the First Alert Super 7-day forecast.
All right, Cutter, thank you.
So many areas have been dealing with flash flooding and renewed rounds of heavy rain event after a heavy rain event, and that's one of the reasons why we have the alert day in place today. Again, because of the risk of heavy rain, but then secondary to that, the possibility of a few severe thunderstorms. Widespread coverage, so it's going to take a while to build up to that this evening. Heavy rain, the main threat, street flooding along with those heaviest of downpours, and then severe thunderstorms could contain some gusty winds. We have slid back the timeline just a bit there, 3 to 10 p.m. So already we're seeing some showers and storms develop. Flash flood watch will go into effect here in about 45 minutes. Intense rainfall, 2 inches or more, in less than an hour's time, a possibility where the heaviest of rain falls. That's enough to cause street flooding in the green shaded areas. Now, right now, pretty quiet across the city of Baltimore. However, we're watching western Maryland, showers and thunderstorms continuing to push off to the north and northeast. They're moving, not as much of a flood threat with these because we're not seeing sustained development, meaning it's not pouring in the same spot for an extended period of time. But we're going to be watching here pretty closely back into Martinsburg, into Virginia, Hagerstown, Maryland. You've already had one downpour, and there is more on the way. Outside right now, you're feeling the moisture. Dew point 74. That 87 feels like 95. Lots of moisture that could be wrung out of the atmosphere as storms begin to develop and move in. Notice the timeline for commuters, and I would say especially after 7 p.m., that's when the risk of rough weather for the city will really start to increase. But if you're commuting to the west side, just a heads up, could be some rain out there as well earlier than that. 4 p.m. forecast model, it's a little overzealous with development over the city, but it is possible we could see storms develop along the Bay Breeze, right along the I-95 corridor in the city of Baltimore. That's before that band of showers and thunderstorms blast through a little bit later this evening. But you can see by 10 p.m. eastern shore, far southern Maryland, it is still stormy. I would say the nastiest of the weather for the city probably going to occur after 7 p.m. and before 10 p.m. or so. Wind gusts to 60 or 65 miles per hour. The secondary severe weather threat, really it's a heavy rain risk that we're watching for you. An isolated brief tornado can't totally be ruled out. Have alerts turned on in your app just in case, but this is what we're watching out for. If one of the heavier rain totals verifies, if that forecast model is right with persistent rain over the city, some spots could see up to 5 inches of rain. Half of that could fall again in about an hour. And then overnight tonight, we calm down. Tomorrow, we're looking at a hot day, but also a relatively drier day. Temperatures in the mid to upper 90s, could feel hotter than 100. Heat advisory in effect for portions of the eastern shore, hour by hour. Hottest from noon onward. And we're looking at widespread high temperatures, low to mid 90s. One of the hottest afternoons we've had in several days. But a lesser risk of storms Thursday, also Friday, Saturday, Sunday, typical summertime showers and storms. Nikki, low humidity and 80s next Tuesday into Wednesday.